Hey Virgo, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading, general readings. Take what works, leave what doesn't, and check your other major placements if you want. We are going to be starting with a oracle deck reading, and then if that resonates with you or for whatever reason you want to join me over on Vimeo for a more traditional tarot spread, that's what we'll be doing today. Let's see here. We're starting off with the Crow Oracle. Okay, that seems good. Okay. We have, first of all, we have warning that something isn't what it seems. So look at how similar they are. We have a warning. This crow is warning about fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So this crow is seeing something that's not right, seeing the evidence of it not being right, and is trying to alert you. You're getting an alert warning. Something isn't right here. Something isn't right. And what we're getting here is mimicry. Something looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, but it's definitely not a duck. So mimicry, this is, the crow is saying, come here, scout. So something might look similar to something else. I remember getting this when I saw someone that, it wasn't the person I thought I was going to see, but it was a person related to the person I thought I was going to see. So there can be something like that where it's like a near miss. This is almost what you want, but this isn't quite what you want. Or there can be something that's looking like that looks good, but there's a warning here. So given this is a general reading, and given these are oracle cards, it comes in as just like, hey, check it out. There's something that should probably be checked out. Something sounds good, sounds like what you want, right? He's saying, come here, scout. And in this story the true story about this, this card is this crow was able to mimic pretty closely the owner's voice and tone, so that the dog was very confused, right? This dog, though, isn't fully confused or fully believing what he's hearing. He's just like, wait, what? It's definitely catching his attention. So there's something here that's trying to catch your attention. There's something here that you may not necessarily go for. Sometimes I can be like, I can get really close to being taken in on a scam, but not quite, like, because that part of me speaks up right at the end when it's like, wait, something here does not seem right. No, I'm actually not going to give you any money, but funny story. That was interesting. Cool, thanks for telling me. And I was with you up until the point where I had to give you something in exchange for what was probably not going to be anything. So so that's a little bit of reminding me of some of my own stories of like getting really close to believing something but not quite. And there's also something interesting here, I think, about like this crow is not accidentally doing this. They know exactly what they're doing. Oh man. Yeah, it's bringing up a lot of different like examples, there is I have a relative that looks almost identical to me, or did at one point, and people would ask them if oh, are you, they'd just be, something's, this looks like me, but something's a little strange. So instead of just saying, you are, hello, me, they would say, hello, do I know you? They'd start asking questions because they would know that it wasn't quite the same. Anyway, this person actually ended up impersonating me and causing some trouble for me. So that's what this is reminding, maybe an impersonation or someone that's close. It's so close, but you know that there's something not quite up with it. And then the other thing this is reminding me of is how oftentimes liars, that they don't really need you to believe their story. They just need you to not believe the other story. And so that's what this reminds me of. This crow doesn't necessarily need this dog to like believe that it's its owner. It's just enjoying the confusion, or it's getting something out of it. But it doesn't necessarily like, it's not sitting there like, oh, this dog's really going to believe this. So that's what's coming in here, is this warning that something's might be close to what you want, but not quite what you want. Man, lots of examples of, just like, if you're shopping for a house or an apartment, there might be an apartment that's very close to something that you want and kind of has most of the bells and whistles you were looking for, but something about it may seem a little off. This can happen with cars too. Sometimes that just comes into like, are you going to hold up to the standard? Are you going to be clear on what you want? So there's a warning here that something's just not quite what it seems. And like this crow, like if this dog were to be like, you're not, I don't think you're actually, Joe, my owner. The crow would then be like, oh yeah, I'm not, just kidding. But if he didn't get caught out, he wouldn't cop to that. He'll let the facade go as long as he'll let the facade go on as long as it's enjoyable, or until they get caught out. So, I'm just saying that that's something to consider here, that this is a warning that something is close to what you want. There's a similarity, or there's something that sounds good and sounds like what you want, but there's something, you're not stupid here. You know that this isn't quite, something's not right here, is what we're getting. And then we have freedom. So the freedom to move directly towards something that you want. Somehow, like maybe figuring this out, that this isn't quite what you wanted, or this is close to what you want, but this isn't quite what you want. Like if this is a relationship, it could be like this, like, yeah, I want a relationship that kind of looks like this, but there's no like genuine connection here, or there's no, this isn't quite what I want, or there's not like the stability I want. Like everything else seems fine, but there's something not quite what I want here. So then this would be like you accessing some freedom, or just having some freedom to like go towards what you do want. I feel like go towards the real thing, or just to move away. If this is all on fire, this is like accessing and claiming, I think, the freedom to move towards something that's more resonant to you. So that something that is clearer to you, something's better to you, something more beautiful. And there's a sense of like leaving some sort of a situation, or maybe even a group behind. Like it's close, but it's not quite. Like, and maybe it was something that you played along with for a while. Maybe you got something out of like playing dumb, or like playing along with this. Like whenever I'm playing along with a scam artist for as long as I do, I mean, it's only happened twice. I'm talking like it's a permanent personality trait, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm a good listener. I'm getting some kudos for myself out of it, of like, yeah, I'm a good person. I'm listening to this story. I'm, not shutting this person down. I'm going to like entertain the possibility. And yeah, I do want to take care of my computer and make sure I don't get a virus in my router, or whatever the story is today. So, and I get something out of that, apparently, for as long as it goes, until I'm done, which is when they're like, and now for the money part. No, thank you. That's not going to happen. So there's freedom here. It's like you're walking away from something that maybe served you for some time, but isn't anymore. And you realize like, this isn't what I want. This isn't the real deal. This isn't. So you're reclaiming, I think, some freedom here to just move away. Like it's like this dog that's like, okay, yeah, cool story, bro, and just gets up and walks away. And you have the freedom to do that. So don't fool yourself into thinking that you don't. You've come this far, the fallacy of sunk costs or whatever. Like you've come this far, you have to see it through all the way. Like you're engaged to this twerp. You have to get married to them or something. You don't, right? You can walk away. Okay, all is connected. So this is interesting, because I feel like there's been a story that's been told to you, and you're being warned now that the story isn't necessarily the whole thing. All is connected. This is Anansi, my storyteller. He's in here somewhere. little guy. And this is about, to me, this is about, well, all is connected. There are these threads. There's this whole web of life. We're all very interconnected, whether we want to acknowledge that and behave like that or not. And then we have this little Anansi guy here, which pulls into me some storytelling element to this. What's the story we're telling about the situation, or what's being told? And then this talks to me too about how one little tweak can change quite a bit. Just, this understanding that this story may not be, you may not be hearing the full story here. You may not be getting the full story here. And that switch between like being sort of enthralled by some sort of story or some sort of situation, and then being able to access your freedom. It may be a little bit about the story you tell yourself, if you're stuck or not stuck, if you have, the sunk cost fallacy. If you've listened to the story this long, you might as well throw in the $400 they're asking for now, or whatever, right? So a little tweak, a little shift here of like, just a little bit of a different understanding, maybe something a little bit different coming in here, and shifting it. And it might be the way you tell a story, the way you talk about a situation, the way you understand something, and it changes everything. This is like, like some sort of communication here, or something not being what it seems, and then you get just one little piece of information, and the whole story unravels, and you really understand the whole thing. Or you get one, and then you can something shifts here. Maybe it's something about the story is like, yeah, there's some sort of unraveling here, or something like everything's connected. And where there's a disconnect, you need to pay attention. That's the alarm bell, where the disconnect is, where something just doesn't add up and doesn't make sense. And then we have the gardener. So this is about taking care of yourself, and taking care of your life, being very focused on your own health and well-being, and not necessarily being focused on what's going on in other people's sort of plots, right? This is always my community garden card somehow. But it's talking about your little plot, your little life here. We all get this like 3x6 plot, and we all get to farm it for as long as we're here. We have a little lease on this plot, and this is our life. And so the gardener to me talks about being very focused on your own health, your own well-being, and your own life. And not necessarily going around and weeding other people's gardens and trying to help other people. But this is about, because being healthy, your plot being healthy, your plot not having weeds that go to seed, help other people's plots. That's how you take care of other people. In some ways is, sometimes there is a sense of when someone's like, hey, I need help with the weeding or the watering. Would you do that? You can do that. But you don't need to go futzing with other people's stuff without their permission. This is about really getting a strong thing of stay in your own lane. And that's how, take care of your own plot, take care of your own family, take care of your own life, take care of yourself. And then that benefits your whole community. We don't have to benefit our community by doing things for other people, or, that we don't want to do, or by, taking control of other people's situations or whatever. This is all about, there's something here about your personal health and you focusing, staying in your lane, focusing on your plot of the garden. And that's not to say you can't ask someone to clean up their weeds, or you can't help when they ask for help. But there's something here at this moment in time where your focus needs to be really on your own health and well-being, and maybe even shifting from listening to someone else's story, which is not really ringing true. There's some sort of disconnect here with their story. It just doesn't add up. And that's really interesting, because that's the first time I've gotten that with this card, is all is connected. But I'm seeing this warning that there's a disconnect. Something isn't adding up, and it's worth investigation. And before you go fix somebody else, or figure out this or give something away that you don't want to, you really need to be taking care of yourself first here. And then that way, because we're all 1/7 billionth, if there's 7 billion on the planet, we're all responsible for 1/7 billionth of the health and well-being on the planet, plus if we have minors that we're taking care of as well. But that's your responsibility. So just being really clear on what's your responsibility and what's not your responsibility. Because someone's maybe giving you some kind of sob story here or something like that just doesn't add up. And it doesn't have to be your responsibility to fix their problem or whatever this is warning about. So the answers you need are coming. I like it because with this doggy, we just got questions. We got a lot of questions of like, this isn't adding up. This isn't what's going on here. So full moon in Gemini, the answers you need are coming. There's a conversation, maybe an eye-opening conversation that needs to happen, maybe some questions, right? The answers are coming. Have you asked the questions you need to be asking? So getting clear on those questions, and even the way we frame questions can sometimes be part of this, like all is connected, can sometimes unravel a story or help us see something much more clearly and see the connections more clearly. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light to fit in? Okay, this is, I see this combined with the gardener of like, this is very much of you be you. If you have doubts about something, don't hide those. Don't, because they're inconvenient or they're difficult or what will everybody think if you have doubts about something. This is about like expressing those doubts. Don't hide yourself. Don't hide your feelings or your worries or your concerns or anything to fit in. Making sure that you're taking care of yourself and you're being who you are. And if that's a person that's full of questions, that's a person that's full of questions. So, and then that freedom too, accessing, like, I definitely feel like this is like an accessing of freedom you already have. You've always had the freedom to fly away, to go towards something. And so this seems to be like accessing your own personal freedoms to be exactly who you are and not some sort of mimicry of what you're expected to be, not performative, not, but an ability, accessing the freedom to be exactly and precisely who you are. Maybe you're the one that's mimicking something else and it's telling you that you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that anymore. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. So this is like the pre-planning stage. This is like the Fool card, maybe like getting going on something or getting an idea, something like that. Like just, and it's very possible, right? She's like dreaming the future here, and that's the foundation. So something in the future, but we're just like, this is like buying the seed from the seed catalog. We're not even planting the seed yet. We're just, we're planning out the garden for the year. We're figuring out where everything's going to go. Right, we've got the community gardener here, and then we've got sort of the garden plan. We're looking at seeds, we're figuring out what we want to grow this year, what worked last year, when we should plant things, companion plants, all of that goes into that. Oh, I like this. Trust the niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? So I think this is about like you getting some sort of idea that something's not right, and maybe it's yourself. Maybe there is something about yourself where you're not being authentic. But trusting the niggle, there's something here. So it'll come up over and over again. This warning or this message will come over and over again. And I like how there's this trio in both of these. We have, which is also echoed in this Gemini one, especially this one, this like eyes closed and eyes open. It's like you know half of something, and maybe you're figuring out what questions to ask. You know half of something, and you know there's more to the story, right? The answers you need are coming, and trust the niggle. You know that there's more to the story, and you need to keep pulling on this thread to unravel something. And then we have a time for healing, balsamic moon. So this is all for your benefit, for your healing. This isn't here to mess up your life, to create a tower moment where everything has to begin again. This is all about healing. This is all about a journey to healing something. Yeah, but I just get a strong sense here with this mimicry and this warning that you get an idea that you don't quite have the full story, or maybe you aren't the full story. You don't even have the full story on yourself, possibly, but you don't have the full story, and some unraveling needs to happen. A conversation needs to happen. You can see parts of it, but you can't see other parts of it, and you might be aware of that there's a bunch here that you're not seeing that doesn't add up. So trust that instinct, and follow. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed to follow this path, to follow this thread, to ask these questions, and then the follow-up questions. So this could all be, I mean, looking at the gardener here, this could all be just about you taking care of you. So, a time for healing. It's for your benefit. All right, if that resonated with you, go ahead and join me over on Vimeo. Either way, I'll see you in a while.